Good morning, everyone. My name is Alexis Gossick. I'm with the Technology Council of Central PA. Thank you so much for carving time out to join us this morning for our today's tech session. We are joined by Rob Ginder, and Rob will take us over in just a moment and give a brief intro on himself. But first, I want to say thank you to our investors that are either present with us on today's call or will be joining us at some point in time during today's call. Select Medical and DQE Communications. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your support. You are the reason that we can continue to do great and wonderful things like this. You have joined us this morning for today's tech session, and I am going to now turn things over to Rob so that he can introduce himself and then get into the meat and potatoes of today's session.
All right. Thank you, Alexis. I appreciate the intro. Thank you, everyone, for joining this morning. I know it's tough on a Thursday morning sometimes to get up and jump into something like this. So I appreciate you jumping in here. As Alexis said, my name is Rob Ginder. I'm with TREYSTA Technology Management. We are a managed IT service provider located here in central Pennsylvania, and we provide services to small, medium-sized businesses throughout central Pennsylvania and northern Maryland. And kind of today, we're going to talk an overview of who we are, what we do, the services we offer, and then we're going to jump into a little bit of security and some of the things that we'd like to talk about there. So throughout the presentation, if anyone has any questions or anything like that, please let me know, or we can have a quick question and answer session afterward. Joining me today, I see, is Shannon McCleary. Shannon takes care of our marketing for here as well. So she's on here and be listening in as well. So I'm going to share my screen. I did put together a slide deck. Well, actually, Shannon put together a slide deck to kind of walk through who we are. Okay, is everyone able to see my screen? I hope. Excellent. Okay, so as I said, I'm Rob Ginder. I've been in the IT industry for over 30 years. Um, Started out in the military back in the early 90s doing communication security. And then worked my way kind of up to where I am today. Worked in, small, medium-sized businesses, worked federal government, local government, as well as everything in between, help desk, engineering, all that stuff. So I've done pretty much a lot of stuff in the IT world. Seen a lot of everything, been around for quite some time. And then recently, I say recently, about 6 years ago, I converted over more into the sales and account management side because, as I was told, I talk too much when I go out on client sites and visits. So, just made sense to kind of move into this world here. So who we are, like I said, TREYSTA. We're here in central Pennsylvania. We have offices in Gettysburg and York. We have technicians throughout the central Pennsylvania and northern Maryland region. We are, I believe, 21 employees today, so we are a small business as well. We've been around since 1995, but as TREYSTA since 2014. TREYSTA was actually formed by two separate companies, NetAid and ComputerWorks. ComputerWorks being out of the York area and NetAid out of Gettysburg area. It was Henry Grossman and Steve Quinley, the two founders of those companies, merged in 2014 to create TREYSTA. And then over time, some changes in ownership and leadership, and I believe it was now 6 years ago, so 2019, John George, who is now our president, took over as a president and now owner of the company. I've known John for probably 15 years now. He and I have worked together in three different managed IT providers here in the local area as well. And kind of when he brought into TREYSTA, one of the biggest things was the philosophy behind what managed IT really should be. And so for us, one of our biggest focuses is on kind of the customer relationships and customer service side. So that's one of the things that we really strive, that we really care about, is that customer service and the help desk. And one thing that we're very proud of is that we track customer satisfaction, and we really care about it. For every service ticket that we have, if there is any rating less than a great rating, then we flag it, we call, we talk about it. And right now I think we are on our third month straight of 100% positive customer satisfaction feedback. And but it's hard to get results on that. And Shannon and the team, we run kind of raffles and drawings to incent our clients to respond to that. So it's not just, we're making these up. We want the feedback, the good and the bad. So that's one thing that we really focus on. And one of our main focuses then, so is the proactive support. We want to make sure that the devices, everything's working. The old days for IT support was, the companies made money based off of you calling in. Well, we want everything to work. We're happy to have you call in and talk with us, but we want your systems up and running, and we'll talk about some of the things that we do for that. So our technology advantage, like I said, we proactively manage these systems. We provide automatic updates and patch management to make sure that the systems are secure and up to date. We have all kinds of different security tools in place now to look for threats in real time to respond to. It used to be, 10, 15 years ago, probably longer than that, a firewall and antivirus is all you needed and your computers were protected. That's really not enough anymore. The threats are coming at us so fast, especially with AI and the adoption of that and how it's going. But they're coming from all different angles, and it's not just they're not really trying to break into your firewall and get into your computers anymore. They're sending you phishing emails. They're trying to get you to click on links. They're trying to do whatever they can to get you to make a mistake. So at the end of the day, our focus really is protecting the machines, but then also, and we'll talk about this more, is educating your employees on what to look for and what to watch out for. And then also the old school backups and critical, I'm sorry, backups and everything like that. So at some point, and this was really good. I don't know if who all was at the PA Tech conference, but I was there and listened to some great presentations. And one of the things that really set with me was the presenter said it's not if you get compromised, it's when. And what are you going to do then? So that's why backups are so critical. There's backup systems out there today that are complete image level backups of your systems. So even if your online computers do get compromised, you can simply just delete them and restore from these backups and everything in between. So, but it's just it again, it's just layers of security from education all the way down to making sure that your systems are backed up. And so when we talk about security, so again, it's the email. I mean, sorry, it's the antivirus. We want to make sure we have that. But then there's other tools, DNS protection. So what that is if you click on a link and it's trying to go out to a website, it's verifying, is that website malicious? Is this somewhere that could be bad for you? Most viruses, and we talk about, before, like Trojan horse viruses and things like that, they're not really that way anymore. It's trying to get you to click on something, getting you to go out to the internet and launch a portal to a site that now brings in the stuff that doesn't work or that's bad for you. And so that's what DNS protection kind of looks for. But we also have endpoint protection. That's watching the computer. It's reading the logs. Some of the things are so sophisticated now that someone will, compromise or get into your computer and be there for weeks or months, and they're not doing anything but just watching and observing. And there's really no way to detect that except for having advanced software and checking the logs. And what some of these things do is they're watching your computer to see how it behaves. It learns how you use your computer, and so then if it's doing something different outside the norm of what you would normally do, then it'll send an alert that we can look at and say, oh, okay, that's normal, that's not normal, or we'll call and say, hey, did you try to do this? And you say, no, that wasn't me. And so then, maybe there's something in there that we can take a, a closer look at. But also we do, phishing prevention. We do security awareness training, dark web monitoring. And what dark web monitoring is it's watching for any usernames and passwords that may be compromised. So, I mean, I'm guilty of this too, or have been, but you create an account with Target or with Amazon. I know some people will use your corporate emails to do that, your corporate email address. So you see in the news all the time some of these larger companies that are getting compromised, and these email lists and passwords are sent out there. But it's probably a pretty good bet that a lot of people are still using the same password across all of these different accounts. So if they're able to get a hold of your password for an Amazon account, it's the same password you're using for your corporate account. Well, now they're halfway into being able to get into your corporate systems as well. So we're watching for that. It constantly is monitoring the email addresses and domains for your corporate account to see if there are on any lists out there. and then we could report back and let you know. So again, lots of different types of layers and things that are out there that we're doing to try and protect. But at the end of the day, you probably heard this before, the biggest threat for anything cyber security related are humans. It's us. It's us making mistakes. Again, see the statistic on here, 90% of successful attacks were because of some sort of human error, clicking on the wrong thing. One of the things I like to talk about, and I've seen this happen before, was finding a USB drive at a parking lot and plugging it into your computer just to see what it is. And on the back end, it's launching information or it's launching, this malicious attacks into your system. This happened. I've seen this a long time ago. I bring this one up. Actually, it wasn't that long ago. It was a thumb drive. All it said was wedding pictures laying in the parking lot. So somebody picked it up. Hey, I wonder whose these are. I want to get it back to them. Plugged it into their computer, and it had pictures on it, had all kinds of stuff. But on the back end, it was running a script that was pulling information off the computer. They had no idea it was happening. Now, luckily, it did trigger some alerts that went off to the IT department, and they saw some things that were going on. They were able to shut it down. But it's just that simple. And so, really, education and making sure your employees are aware of these types of threats and risks are very important. One of the things that I do is I do go around with our clients, and it's about a 30-minute presentation on security awareness, and I'll just really digging into the things that they need to be watching for. And then we also have, ongoing security awareness training where we will send it's usually a 3 to 4 minute cartoon-based video on, phishing attempts or, um, what to look out for, things like that with a quiz at the end. And that's another thing too that we really push with our team. We found that I think it was last year, and Shannon could correct me on this, we were probably under 10% um, rate of our actually clients that were actually taking the training. So we started incenting them. We offered pizza parties, free lunches, things like that to get their percentages up. And I think we're closer to 50% now of people that are actually taking this training. Within our organization, we are probably just under, I think we're right around 100% because we would take it seriously. We want to make sure that everyone is up to speed on that. Yeah. And along with that too, so we do the actual training, but then we do phishing attempts as well. So we'll send out emails to our clients, trying to trick them into clicking the things, and they're getting better. I mean, I'm sure everyone here has seen a phishing attempt at some point, and some of them, are pretty simple, pretty easy to find, but they're getting better. And again, talking with AI, and one of the stats I heard at the PA Tech Con 2 weeks ago was, I think if a human creates the phishing attempt themselves, the click rate's probably not that high right now. It's easy to find, but the AI generated ones, I think, are over 60% now click rate. They're getting so good at it that you can't tell. And these are the ones that are coming from FedEx or UPS, the post office, or anywhere. I got one in the mail the other day that was, I'm a veteran, so it came from the VA, telling me that our mortgage was in default, and because of that, the VA wasn't going to cover uh, their their guarantee anymore. And first thing I did is looked at my wife, and she's like, "No, that's not real." But it was regular mail that came through too. But it was fakes trying to get me to call this number and talk to them and give them information. So it's just crazy how it's coming from every angle, and they're getting more and more realistic. And so what we've seen is while we dig in and we are educating our clients and making sure that they know and understand what to watch, we're seeing fewer incidents. We're not seeing fewer attempts, right? The attempts aren't going away. That's increasing daily, but we are able to see fewer actual incidents, and the ones that we see are small. Um, Very few that we see that are big anymore. I think in the almost 5 years now that I've been with TREYSTA, we've been involved in, I think, three major incidents, and none of them were clients at the time. When that happened, we were able to jump in and help them recover, and then put our tools into place and prevent it from happening again, or minimizing the effects of it if it does happen again. And this is one we like to talk about too. I mean, back before, probably 5, 6 years ago, everyone thought, well, here in central Pennsylvania, being a small business, they're not going to try and attack me. They're after the big banks. They're after, the big, Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies, but that's not the case anymore. They're after anyone that they can get to. We have a lot of our clients are nonprofit organizations. I think 35% of our clients are nonprofit, and we're really letting them know that they really don't care about getting your computer systems. They'd love to get a hold of your donor lists and get a hold of the people that are donating money to you, and then they're going to go after them. So if there's any type of bank information or anything like that, one, that's very critical, but also just names and addresses. Once they can get hold of that information, they can take that and go and try and social engineer or reach out and start, sending phishing attempts to them to try and get them and trick them into sending them money somehow. So it's really, really more and more. It's after everyone. So education and protection are very important. And then the statistic here, 43% of small business accounts are what we're seeing attacked on a regular basis. And I don't have that stat here, and Shannon can correct me. She sees this stuff all the time. But I think it's probably over half of companies that get hit with a true cyber attack and ransomware, that type of thing, they don't ever recover from it. So it's just important to really make sure that you're watching for these things. And then so here at TREYSTA, I mean, our commitment, local expertise. So we are local. Everyone that works for TREYSTA is here in central Pennsylvania, Northern Maryland. We don't outsource any of our help desk or anything like that. We are all employees here in the company. And really, again, looking at it relationship based, we live and work in the community. We see each other in the grocery stores. We want to make sure that we're taking care of you. And I always laugh and say that one of the things I don't want is I don't want to be at the grocery store and having someone throwing tomatoes at me because of something that happened. They're not happy with me or happy with us. So we just want to make sure that we're taking care of everything. Very proactive. Again, we're monitoring and watching everything that's going on. We don't want compromises to come in. And then a partnership mindset. We really want to be partnered. We're really not, the IT company or things like that. We want to be partners with you and learn your goals and what you're trying to do and make sure that technology is helping you and not getting in your way. Everyone that we work with, their organizations have a mission, and technology should help them get there and not get in the way. And really, I guess I kind of just breeze through here, but that's basically who we are. We've been around for a long time. We have some great people here, and we're here to help. And if there's any questions at all, one of the things I love to do is come out and do security awareness training. So, one thing I like to offer to the members of the Technology Council is if anyone wants me to come out at no cost, I'll do the security awareness presentation for you and your organization and just have that conversation. Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together, fighting against these guys that keep them out of our systems and keep our stuff protected. So that's pretty much what I have. Does anyone have any questions or can want to talk about anything? We've got a few minutes here.
Thank you so much, Rob. I always interject too quickly. So let me preface while folks' wheels are spinning.
Hmm.
We're recording today's session, so I will get a follow-up email out to everyone after today's session with the link to the recording in case you want to circle back to anything that Rob said or presented earlier in the session. You'll be able to rewatch that. It will also contain Rob's direct contact information. So if thoughts are bouncing around and you need some time to formulate that question or formulate that discussion with Rob, you'll be able to get in touch with him directly so that you can follow up at any point in time. So I'll get that out to you following today's session. Let me take a moment though to be quiet and see if anybody does have any questions that they would like to ask while we have Rob's undivided attention. Well, Rob, you know what
All
they
right.
say. If you let them speechless, that means you did a tremendous job.
I
So good
guess.
for you. The Friday Eve is starting off very, very well. Rob, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate you taking the time. To all of our attendees, everybody on the call today, thank you so much for joining us, taking the time out of a very busy time of the year to hear about some really important stuff that's impacting everyone at this point. You'll hear from me shortly. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of the day today.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.